Well, as Nate was just saying, police credit an anonymous tipster who called into the tip line on Tuesday saying, frankly, that he had seen the shooter in the area just a couple hours before the shooting. That tipster also wrote on Reddit a description of a vehicle, a gray Nissan with Florida plates just a couple blocks away from the engineering and physics building here on Brown University. Well, that anonymous tipster happens to also be the same man police released images of and were asking the public to help identify because of how close he was seen walking by the shooter in surveillance video. His name is John, a homeless man and former Brown University student who 2 hours before the shooting locked eyes with the gunman in the bathroom in the basement area across from the classroom where the shooting took place. John said he was suspicious of Claudio Neves Valente and followed him out of the building into the neighborhood where the two played a game of cat and mouse. This surveillance video shows the gunman running away from John, who was following him. John saw the gunman unlock his car, notice him, relock his car, and walk away. John confronts the shooter and says, "Your car is back there. Why are you circling the block?" The suspect responds, "Why are you harassing me?" Now, based on this tip, investigators say they reviewed surveillance footage and found a car matching that same description. Police then used flock cameras, license plate readers to identify the car. Neves Valente said they said that he put a Maine license plate over his Florida license plate, which made it a little bit difficult, but eventually police traced that car to an Alamo car rental company in Boston. They matched the images, they traced the name, and that's where they were able to trace this Neves Valente, to a storage unit under his name in Salem. Now, yesterday, I pressed police as to why a citizen is the person who noticed and grew suspicious of Neves Valente when this person was here for at least a couple of weeks and walking around. Listen.
Why did it take a citizen to notice a suspicious person right next to Brown University and not the police? And also, how long was the vehicle parked where it was? And was it days, hours, minutes?
It appeared to be days as far as the evidence. Why would a civilian observe that to be suspicious? It's a great point. And I like the fact that you're mentioning that and bringing that up. That's what we should all be doing, right? And it's just personality. Some people are more interested in finding out what others are doing. In this particular case, this person decided that he wanted to, and I'm glad he did.
Investigators describe John as an extremely articulate witness. John does happen to be a homeless man who was, we're told by a source, living in the basement area of the Barris Holly Engineering and Physics building, which of course opens up a whole new set of questions about the security of that building and why that was happening. But right now, John is the hero, and the AG says he deserves every bit of that $50,000 reward. Guys?
Yeah, clearly, I mean, Brian, he had the wherewithal and the information that led police directly to the suspect, and they praised him as they should. But you raised the question, why was a homeless man allowed to live in the basement of this college facility where the shooting eventually took place?
Yeah, it really brings up a lot of questions about the lack of security in that building. And the Brown University president, Christina Paxson, was pushed last night hard about this. We know in the affidavit that there are only 2 cameras outside of this building, and there was no security guard at this building, which was not atypical. So this building was never guarded. There weren't enough cameras. So obviously, it was so unguarded that they allowed somebody to live a homeless man to live in the building, an academic building. So again, John's a hero, but that brings up questions about security.
Well, he is a hero in this case, but Brian, they also have to grapple with something else. The shooting takes place that Saturday. Sunday, they arrest and then cut loose this person of interest. Initially, they told us that there was no connection between the shooting and that happened on that Monday, but now that we know that there is a connection, they gave him some time because they stopped the search, right?
You know, they'll push back and say ultimately that was 24 hours and they were still looking at every single lead. But I will tell you this, the timeline that also is something that we got to really drill in on here is that a custodian in the Brown University Engineering and Physics building noticed Claudio Neves Valente on November 28th. That's 2 weeks before the shooting. So again, if a custodian thought that this person looked suspicious 2 weeks before. This person is walking around campus, in and out of a building. Where was Brown University police? Where was the anybody patrolling that would have said, you know what, let me ask this guy some questions? And that's really, that where the timeline, where a lot of questions are, Lawrence.
And so the other thing, do you think this homeless guy is eligible for the $50,000?
According to the Attorney General, he thinks that he should get every dollar of it. I don't see why. I think it would be very hard pressed, because without John, I don't think we're here today. I mean, he's the one that described the vehicle. Without the vehicle, they don't know who this is, and they don't find the connection to MIT. At least not yesterday.